So I'm Benjamin Borie. I'm a head of application at ATLANT 3D. Thanks for giving us the occasion to speak here. For the ones that don't know about ATLANT 3D, we are an equipment manufacturer. We are based in Denmark, and we are a startup of about 40 people now, and we essentially develop processes in atomic layer depositions. So I'll expand a bit on this, and especially why it's interesting for neuromorphic cameras. So essentially what we commercialize is here our tool, Nanofabricator Lite. It's a magnificent tool essentially to do data-driven innovation for material science. But anyway, it's essentially based on direct atomic layer processing. So for the people that are not super familiar with processes in the semiconductor industry, it's based on a technology named atomic layer deposition, which is essentially cycling different chemical compounds on the substrate that allows you to build layer by layer materials. And in our case, we made this deposition local, about 300 micrometer local, which enables us essentially to directly write semiconductor devices with standard materials that are available in the semiconductor industry. So you can see the nozzle representation on the left, and you can see on the right some of the processing that we can do. So lines essentially of different thicknesses or gradients. So why is this great? Essentially because we can leverage all the great points about ALD, which are material versatility, about 450 materials. We can control the microstructure, so we can make porous materials, but we can also make them very dense. And we have true conformality to substrate, so to nanostructures. We can functionalize nanostructures, we can deposit coatings on mirrors and so on. And this is all enabled by the direct write technology that we invented here. And essentially combining those two enables us to make arbitrary parameter gradients, which you'll see as a great advantage in material science, in optics, and in other markets, and also to make multi-material devices, so real semiconductor printing. So some of the materials that we have currently developed that are available, they're basically the standard materials for ALD. It's platinum, alumina, titanium oxide, zinc oxide, copper oxide, iridium oxide, hafnium oxide, vanadium oxide, and so much more that find applications either in optics or in sensors, or it can be also in microelectronics for capacitors, for example. So here are the different verticals in which we work. We develop MEMS and sensors for multiple aspects. So we can see neuromorphic structures as well. So whether neuromorphic sensors or neuromorphic memories. We work in optics and photonics as well, where we start developing actually AR coatings, Bragg mirrors, multispectral filters as well is something we're starting to work on. We work in fuel cells and batteries where we enable catalysis. And then in microelectronics for multi-level capacitors, for example, is one of our applications. So here is essentially the real value of the technology is the ability, since we can deposit locally, we are not constrained by the lithography processes in semiconductor processing, which means that we can easily cycle from the deposition to lithography to etching steps multiple times, which enables us to create very easily gradients of structures or multiple structures with different thicknesses, or gradients of composition of material, or even different materials deposited at different points on the substrates. So this is the design freedom that we give to our customers. And this essentially enables you to create new types of processes. So we usually easily integrate with standard semiconductor processes. We can locally functionalize elements either for encapsulation or nanoparticle deposition. We can create novel types of devices with material gradients, essentially. And we can easily integrate, since it's atomic layer deposition-based deposition, we can easily integrate devices in 3 dimensions as well. So in trenches, for vertical integration and higher density, essentially. So, but what's the interest here, in a sense, with neuromorphic? There is a trend, at least on our side, on the process side, that it would be nice to be able to have access to semiconductor equipments or semiconductor memories that do not leverage just one single component multiplied 1 billion times, but maybe being able to leverage the ability to process multiple types of components on the same array. So essentially to be able to start having different types of dynamics in the neuromorphic array. So that's what is called a multi-order complexity devices. Most biological systems have this capability to have different types of behaviors. It would be nice if the hardware on the semiconductor side also is enabling this type of capabilities. And this is very difficult, I would say, for standard semiconductor because processing, because you're basically asking them to make one element different from the one that is positioned next to it, which is really not what they're made for. So here is a type of devices that could be of interest in this multi-order complexity. It can be tri-layer metal insulator metals, or metal semiconductor metal, or metal with other elements in between. And this is where we can really leverage our tool, is to enable this type of concepts where you can create essentially gradients of either thickness, let's say gradients of titanium dioxide, or gradients of vanadium oxide, or even compositions, or gradients of zirconium and hafnium oxides, each of them yielding different types of dynamics. It can be phase change memories, it can be ferroelectric memories, essentially. And the idea is to be able to process this type of elements on the same, neuromorphic array, and give the designers the freedom, essentially, to have different types of dynamics at different positions. So it's something that we started developing. So it's inside the European project named ATOSense, in partnership with the Institute of Electrical Engineering in Slovakia. So here are the first, trials, essentially, of this concept, where you see the difference in colors. Here on the left is essentially a gradient of titanium dioxide that varies from 50 nanometers to 10 nanometers in thickness. It's a tri-layer structure of platinum, titanium oxide, platinum. It's just a capacitor, basically. But here, essentially, as you go up, all devices exhibit different types of dynamics and essentially different capacitance, breakdown voltages, and so on. And you can see on the right similar types of structure, where we started varying a bit the top electrode, in that case with tin oxide. So if you remember the list of materials I gave initially, with all those vanadium oxide, hafnium oxide, and so on, those are materials that we are going to start to integrate into this concept and see essentially what are the change in performances and data we can extract from this. So here are some initial results, essentially, from this type of concept, with platinum and tin oxide as the top electrodes. And you can see essentially different capacitance obtained with this concept. And this is going to essentially provide a large data set for material science, but also for designer of neuromorphic chips, once we start leveraging this. for designing multi-order complexity types of arrays. So yes, I am at the end of my presentation, and I welcome your questions. We are very open as well for collaborations. We are mainly material scientists, and if you have ideas on concepts for neuromorphic arrays and how to apply it as well to neuromorphic cameras, we are really open for discussions.